Morning, everybody. It is April 4th, Monday morning, start of a new week. It was the greatest couple of days doing the Grammy pre-concert. I was really thrilled to see how many people logged on and commented on the show, and because it's such a ton of work to do. I mean, we literally had approximately 88 pieces of music to do for the show, and people have asked a bunch of questions. Everything there were charts for everything. There was music written out. We had a big, thick, it was like a phone book of music, and but we basically have to learn. I mean, run the whole songs because you never know how much of that song you're going to play. So much of it is predicated on where the person is sitting in the venue, because almost all these pieces are the ones that when they call their name and and the Grammy goes to and they say their name, we start playing and they could be in the front row and we played 4 bars and they're on stage and we cut off, or they could be in the back of the room, which is huge, and it might take half a song for them to get there. You just don't know. So you've got to be prepared for everything on it. The crew involved, the sound people and everybody just did a stellar job because it's a real fly by the seat of your pants kind of a thing. And our monitor guy, the camera people, everybody was just great to work with on this. We had such a good time, and I wanted to credit out. I wrote a copious list here of everybody involved in the band for doing this show because I think everybody deserves recognition. So I'm going to read off all the people who were involved from our end of it and just share it with you to give them just some credit here. So Jenny Cote, Jenny's great. She's the production coordinator for this, and every time we do one of these shows, she's the production coordinator on it. Whitney Martin and Gina Zamiti were the music contractors for the show. Ben Cherney was the music librarian, which is a tough job. I mean, getting all this stuff together, getting all the charts together and all that, it is a seriously tough job, man. I appreciate everything he did. And the great Cheche Alara was the musical director and keyboard player for it. And I've worked with a lot of production, I mean, a lot of, we call them MD, music directors. We always just say he's the MD. I've worked with a number of these over the years, and Cheche's absolutely one of the best I've ever worked with. He's unflappable when things start potentially going wrong. He does not let anybody see that. He just is cool as a cucumber and gets things done. And he's always got a smile on his face, and he's an absolute pro. So thank you, Cheche, for always including me on these projects. And the band on this was myself on bass, Nate Morton on drums, who you can, if you watch The Voice, he's the drummer in that band on The Voice. He's done lots of stuff, but that's what he's been up to. Andrew Sinowich and Dean Parks were the 2 guitar players on this. A lot of people only saw things from the back and they thought perhaps Tim Pierce was on this one, but for some reason Tim didn't make this one. So Andrew was on it, but it was Dean Parks. Matt Rohde on keyboards. He's like the great utility guy playing piano, B3, synth, everything. He's great for that. And Luis Conti, who I've been working with forever on percussion, who's just, man, he's just a force of nature back there behind all those little doodads that he has as percussion stuff. Rashawn Ross on trumpet, Harry Kim on trumpet, George Shelby on sax, and Eric Jorgensen on trombone. And it was great to be with George and Harry, because the last time we worked was in Phil Collins's band, so it was great to see them. And Amy Keys, Patty Janura, and Britt Quenin were the background vocalists on this, and Amy was also with Phil Collins, so it was kind of like an old home week for us out there. Sangali, Marish Cuny were the violinists. Caroline Buckman was on viola, and Giovanna Clayton was on cello, and Gia Sky was the DJ on it, which became a real essential part of everything for us. But everybody, man, just brings their A game to this thing. It's a lot of work and really intense. and long days. I mean, we were sitting right playing yesterday at, we had to be show dressed in our seats at 9 a.m. yesterday morning, and we rehearsed for a few hours, had a quick meal break, and then we were back in our seats for the show. And it was a long day because we finished the show. I think it ran a little over, but we got out of there probably about 4:30, quarter to 5, and I was going to be flying back home from Las Vegas, and I found out that Amy Keys had driven herself to come to the show rather than fly. And I thought, I don't want to see Amy going home, at this time of day by herself. So I bailed on my flight home and drove home with Amy, and we got back to LA probably about 11 o'clock last night. It was a real nice drive. We hung because we never really get that much time together, and that gave us hours to solve all the world's problems and stuff. So it was great coming back with her, and we got tied up a little bit. There was one stretch of the 15 where there had been an accident, and it slowed down for about a half hour to almost a crawl. But it was great. But it is such a fine group of musicians that get put together for this, and man, there's never a question. Everybody just, the minute Cheche drops a baton, man, we're ready to go, man. It is solid. And it was so sweet meeting up with so many people there. I was happy to see Fred Crochal was there in the audience. He came up to the stage before the show, and he's the immediate family's manager. So we got to see Fred a little bit, and he was there with Jackson Browne, and it was thrilling to see Joni come out and accept her award. And I'm so thrilled that she's still amongst us, because she's one of the greatest forces in contemporary music. And just seeing the thing I love about doing that show is the variety in it. I mean, the evening show is, it's a big, massive, lot of production and stuff like that. But that daytime show just hauls along. I think they gave 77 awards out in that 3.5, 4 hour period. And LeVar Burton was great as a host. I love LeVar. And so it was really great to see him, and got to spend a little time hanging with him. And just everybody, though, involved in doing this show is so good. And it was amazing. I had to go back to the hotel and pack up and come back, and I was going to meet Amy, and then we were going to just walk across the street to the parking structure and get in her car. And so in the time I left and I went back across the street and packed up my bag and my bass and everything, and came back, like the place was like 2/3 empty. The crews that work in Vegas are unbelievable. They can prepare a room for the next event so fast. It's like going into an ant farm. It's just, man, they are on it. They know what they're doing. So it was, all in all, it was really great. We had just great rehearsals. It was so much fun. There's so much fun and laughing involved in this. I love playing. Nate Morton is such a fun drummer to play with. I love every chance I've had, and there hasn't been enough. But every time I get to play with this guy, it's just like that pocket is deep, and just the whole variety of things that are thrown at us really makes you enjoy what you do. In these past couple of years, there's been a bunch of things I've really enjoyed, but we were just always used to having so much more, and certainly with the aspect of COVID upon us, it definitely put a cramp in that. So it was kind of nice just to get back in the saddle and do something as intense as a show like this. So I taped the Grammy show. I haven't seen the actual show because we were driving back while that was going on. So try over the next couple of days to watch that. I was happy to see John Batiste do so well. I've had 2 opportunities to work with John, and he is, what you see is what you get. He is a smart, creative kind of dynamo. His joy in music is just palpable when you're around him. And he's just one badass, so it's great. And it was really interesting. He's kind of the poster boy now for the New Orleans Jazz Festival this year. And I was over with Blue, who I did my book with. And one of the jobs they had is he was printing all the posters for the New Orleans Jazz Festival. And it's a beautiful poster, and this illustration of John on it is really great. And I don't know, he had to print about, I don't know, 60,000 posters. So his place of business was just going 24/7 around the clock with these big, beautiful posters. So I was happy for Blue that he was involved too. I'm pretty crispy today. I'm not going to do any music today. I just wanted to, more than anything, just acknowledge, number one, the team that was put together for this, and how great and how professional everybody is, and how just what a joy it is to sit in that orchestra and listen to a whole bunch of people who are at the top of their game doing just this amazing stuff. The people who actually run the whole event really do a great job too, because they are like juggling constantly. There's so much going on. It's always a little disappointing when so many people don't show up to get awards, and it's a big deal. It'd be nice if they could make it, but it is what it is. My funniest moment in the whole show was, and she won 2 awards. Leslie Ann Jones won 2 engineering awards in the classical music division, and she we became friends when she used to be worked at Capitol Records all the time, and then many years ago, George Lucas got her to come up and run the Skywalker Ranch Studios up north in Marin County. And the second time she came up, she looked up and saw me on stage, and we're all looking at her, and she comes up and she's facing me, and she goes, because Leslie's in my book, and she flipped me off ages ago. So she came up, and the whole orchestra, the people that really didn't know what's going on, are going, "What was that all about?" I said, "Oh no, she's my bud." So I was thrilled for her to see her get 2 awards last night. It was well deserved. She's an incredibly gifted engineer, and one of the coolest things is, for anybody who's old school that remembers, her father was Spike Jones, who was one of the great band leaders. I mean, he was like the mothers of invention before the mothers existed. But I'm happy for her, and I was really happy for all the people that won. It's I hate to think of it as a competition, because to me, if you're acknowledged in this, that's enough of a win. But it's all amongst peers and stuff. But if I ran a show, I would just make it, like, let's just say who do all your peers think are like the top 10 in each thing, and then just acknowledge all of them, because it's apples and oranges when it comes to this stuff. And I was also real happy when I heard, because I haven't seen it yet, but generally the memoriam sections of shows get really screwed up. To me, like the Oscar one, I thought was a total embarrassment. But I was really happy to hear that, first off, that Al Schmidt was acknowledged in the Grammy memoriam section, that Clarence McDonald was also acknowledged. And I loved Clarence so much and worked with him for so long, and I was really so sad when he left. And the toughest one of all was that Lisa Roy was acknowledged. And Lisa Roy was Danny Korchmar's partner for the last about 4.5 years, but we've all known Lisa. I've known Lisa for 30-some years, and she was one of the driving forces behind the immediate family and getting a lot of stuff done, and she was a real powerhouse in getting the documentary film done. And the fact that she's no longer with us is just breaks my heart every day. I never have a day that goes by where I don't think about her, and the fact that she was acknowledged on that, I think, was really good and important. So I'm going to get going. No music today. I just wanted to talk about what a joyous experience it was to be with all these incredibly gifted people doing this show. And I'm glad it finally happened. It was supposed to be the end of January or something, and because of COVID, it was no good. I don't know what the situation for the audience was. I know that for the band, we had to PCR test before coming to town, and we had to be tested every day going into the venue, even for the rehearsals. And I didn't see many masks in Las Vegas, period. Now all of the stage crew on the show. I mean, you didn't see them, the camera people, all the people that were involved. They all had to wear masks, and when we walked off stage, we had to mask up again. What kind of testing they did for the audience, I have no idea. But because some people have commented on that, but they were pretty strict with the band, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to get going. I was, I can't let one day go by without really acknowledging the nightmare that's taking place. The ethnic cleansing that is now taking place in Ukraine, where now they have documentation of Russian soldiers just stopping civilians on the street and executing them, shooting them on their bicycles or tying their hands up and putting a hood over their head and then killing them and leaving their bodies in the streets. The horrors that are being inflicted on this population are just beyond comprehension. These are things that have not been seen in this world in a very long time. It does happen all the time in different locations, but the magnitude of this is just staggering. I have no idea what kind of world's going to be left when this is over. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I hope. I mean, even if they find a resolution to this, which I'm not sure if that's possible at this point. I think Putin is completely insane, has completely lost his mind, and is on just a quest to basically make this place not exist anymore. And even if it ended, there's nothing for these people to come back to, as much as they all say we want to return to Ukraine. The people have gotten out. But boy, there ain't going to be much to come back to, because they are pretty much leveling everything in their sight. And just, I mean, this is the hard thing. This is this balance where we're sitting there having this glorious weekend celebrating music and playing with great musicians and all that. And these people are just in absolute abject fear of being murdered. So, and it's all happening in exactly the same seconds, while I'm playing a note, somebody's dying over there. And I can't stand it. It's just breaking my heart. And again, COVID exists. I mean, they're putting us through all of the tests and everything, and there are people working in the hospitals taking care of people that are sick, and this is going on and on and on. So I'm gonna relax today. At this point, I have a few things to do. I'm going to be working on more songs by Lyle Lovett, getting ready for the summer tour with him, and have some different projects coming up, some stuff going on. But right now, I'm just, after that long couple of days and then the drive back from Vegas last night, feeling a little tired today, but I feel really also energized because it was so much fun. So I'll have some music tomorrow, and everybody just take good care and enjoy your day. So I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye-bye.